It's final practice ahead of tomorrow's Grand Prix of Portland. 30 minutes reduced now to 25. Welcome to what is effectively warm-up time here on JB Motorsports. Well, we're all getting set then for what's going to be a fantastic running session out here. We'll be mainly handing down to the Fox Sports team as they'll preview all of the action. I just want to pick up on a couple of things. If you're watching our coverage of the NASCAR Xfinity Series race, you might have seen that Connor Zilic had a nasty fall in Parc Fermé in the victory lane as after he got out of the car, he slipped and went down very hard on the ground without his helmet on. The latest news is that Connor Zilic has been transported to a local hospital for further evaluation. He is awake and alert, and any further updates will come from JBMotorsports. So that's good news. He's awake and alert, and hopefully we'll be okay to get a comment from him soon as well. But Will Power went off in qualifying as well as the green light goes on for the 25-minute session. It was an eventful qualifying earlier on today. It will be Pato O'Ward that lines up a pole position as Christian Lundgaard has been given a penalty for, guess what, engine changes, just like most of the grid has been given. Green light's on then. Let's head down to Fox. We'll cover the ad breaks.
And qualify well, one of Newgarden's best starting positions of the season.
Stingray Roberts getting wide there, then that spin, and this is Rinus VeeKay, who then held up Santino Ferrucci, who was unable to advance as a result. Not sure he had the speed in it. Anyway, he said that was your reigning pole sitter, but this is your new pole sitter before penalties.
So it was Lundgaard who was fastest, but he has a sixth-place penalty in his pocket. So too does Joseph Newgarden, and so too does Santino Ferrucci. So too does Kiffin Simpson for his contact with Felix Rosenqvist last time out at Laguna Seca. Meaning the grid is fairly jumbled up, but Pato O'Ward is on pole. Alex Palou starts 5th. Christian Lundgaard starts 7th, and we have a second row which is identical to last week's third row, and then it is David Malukas and Will Power.
It's been a near-perfect season for Alex Palou, but not a perfect day in qualifying. Palou getting just a little bit wide, locked up the right front. He told me just a few minutes ago before he climbed in, said, Townsend, I just pushed too hard. I just asked too much of the front tires. Light contact into the wall, just a tiny bit of damage to the nose of the number 10. He'll fire off, 6 tomorrow. But, you know, a rare little qualifying mistake, a little bit like what we saw at Mid-Ohio when he threw a win away. So if I'm Pato O'Ward, I'm starting on the front row, on the pole. I got to be up in my seat thinking, okay, there's a chance.
He's human after all, Alex Palou.
The thing for me, and I think you said it during the qualifying show, is what's so interesting about it is it shows you that even with the commanding lead that he's got, he can just kind of be on a cruise and collect program. That's not how Palou's wired. He's out there still pushing 10 tenths, 10 and a half tenths right there, enough that he made himself have a little mistake and start further back than he probably should have, but it's to the benefit of this guy here who chases him in the championship. Does need a bit of a miracle, but the stage is set exactly the way we need it.
It is set perfectly, and we were talking earlier on today, you know, what was Pato O'Ward's worst street circuit? It was Toronto. He admitted as much. He won the race. What's his worst road circuit? It's here. He's on the pole. Now, converting pole to a win is another thing entirely, but if he can have a point swing similar to the one that he had last time in Toronto, well then, this goes down to the next race.
And it's been a fantastic season for this guy. If you think about completing every lap on offer, 2 wins already. He knows the team can do it on pit lane. So if I'm Pato O'Ward, I am feeling so confident right now in my race team and surprisingly, unexpectedly confident in my race car to qualify up front here in Portland after the struggles of last year.
Well, he's starting from pole, but who are you watching out for in the race?
Well, look, I'm actually looking out at his teammate, Christian Lundgaard. This team has made such a big jump up in performance at this racetrack, which historically has not been strong for them. He was quick in first practice on the hards, quick on the reds, on the softs. He then goes to qualifying, chucks it on pole. So yes, he's got that grid penalty. He's going to start back in 7th, but we know this is the fastest car, and you can make moves here at Portland.
I'm going to be watching Alex Palou specifically on the first corner of the first lap. Don't forget, his only DNF this season came at Detroit when he got taken out from behind. If he's 6, there are 21 car, 20 cars behind him that have a chance to just bowling ball him in the first corner. That's the biggest risk. I'll be watching the yellow number 10 at the start.
Palou qualified 6th, starts 5th, and alongside him on the 3rd row will be Alexander Rossi, who didn't transfer into the Firestone Fast 6, and that may actually come to be of huge importance and benefit to him. Because he didn't have to compete in the Firestone Fast 6, he has a lot of fresh, unused soft tyres, and he'll be starting on the 3rd row. So he's my man to watch tomorrow in the race. Right, Jack Harvey is somewhere on pit lane.
Thanks, Will. I'm actually decided to not just be on pit lane right now. I went back to turn 1 because I think there's so many huge implications of this corner about strategy that are going to impact the actual warm-up. So let's say there's a yellow. I know that I've been in an accident here. I know James has. I know Townsend has. Not trying to shout you out, lads. It's just a reality of what's happened here. If there's a yellow at the start, of which this obviously is a very tight and dangerous corner, and it's not uncommon, quite often you can see drivers then try and do a 2-stop strategy. In this warm-up, I'm going to be expecting drivers to be trying the hard tyre, the black sidewall tyre, see how far they can go, that coupled with some fuel saving. So it's easy in a warm-up just to be like, oh, it's it's the end of the season, does it matter? It's always going to matter. And this turn 1 can really create some ultimate strategies come race day.
And I'll just to correct you quickly, Jack, officially I've never been in an accident in turn 1, okay? I've only caused them.
Well, I mean, I guess that's a nice clarity
Doesn't
there.
that mean you've been in it? If you've caused it, you didn't stop. Either way.
We'll address that when we come back. But on a weekend where Alex Palou can become a 4-time champion, we will speak to a man who has already achieved that feat.
Seems like we've got a little bit of an issue from the connection trackside with the audio. That's something that very rarely happens. It's come back now. Ferrucci from Award, Malukas, Power. And then we get Foster, Herta, Rasmussen, all in the order at the moment. Will Power jumps up to the top of the board on a 1 minute .0533. So a few improvements are coming across the board then, as we were expecting. Devin Di Francesco, second fastest now, over the line. One board with Newgarden. Listen to how high he gets in towards turn 1. Lucas on the inside as well, trying to get a traction through, but still it was a good exit. It was a good, powerful momentum that he's going to try and hold it through. We ride now on board with Alexander Rossi at the exit of turn 1 and 2. Once again, bringing up the traction, bringing up that power. Inside line, gently accelerates back down. Just see where he is on our timing tower up here in the commentary box as we get access to the telemetry information that you do back at home. Yeah, softly, trying to catch everything together and running into momentum once more. It is an outstanding piece of kit down towards that first braking zone though. Rossi moves up the order. Where's it gone on the timing screen? He's 27th and last, and I can't spot him. 1 minute 30.7180 as we go on board with Will Power. Again, building up the traction.
Ready? We're going to try and clap it. Are you about to sneeze?
Yeah.
Just stare at the sun quick. Santino Ferrucci, you were on pole here last year. You're known for being so exciting on the ovals. Was it a little bit of a surprise that your first career pole came here in Portland?
In Portland, a little bit, yeah, but I really love this track. It's one of my favorites on the calendar. We were really happy with the car all weekend, and it was amazing.
And we're coming down the front straight, it gets lively. Is there a certain corner on this track that you like more than another, or certain section?
I actually really enjoy turn 4, 5, 6.
Okay.
So that massive, really, really long right-hander. When I grew up karting, there was a corner on the track we called it the box turn, and it's just so similar to that corner, just the way that you approach it, enter, arc in. So it's actually my favorite part of this place.
Can I join the mediation dinner with you, Connor, and Dale? Can I just be there for it, please?
Well, someone needs to film it. That would be a fun dinner, so I still got to find Connor this weekend, see what he says.
Well, Santino, have a great weekend, man.
Thanks, Jack.
And with exquisite timing, Santino Ferrucci has gone top of the time in this practice session. Has the grid penalty in his pocket, but we will watch him with great interest in the race tomorrow, a track course which he loves. Now, folks, Alex Palou can be crowned a 4-time champion this weekend. Here are the drivers that have done it in IndyCar history, and it is a list of legends. Foyt, Dixon, Andretti, Bourdais, and I'm delighted to say the man who joins us on the show right now, Dario Franchitti. Dario, mate, great to have you on the show. Thank you so much for being here. Quite a rogues gallery of legends in the sport. We know it takes so much to become a champion just once. But what does it take to become a champion 4 times?
I think the hardest thing for me was the continued motivation, because everybody's pushing so hard, but to keep that motivation up, your whole group, that was hard. And I was lucky when I won the first championship, went to NASCAR for a minute, came back, and then I had the 3 in a row with Ganassi. But I was surrounded by a bunch of people who were so hungry for championships that it elevated my level. And a lot of the same group are still involved today and still involved in those. And Alex knocking on the door of that 4th championship.
Dario, you've worked with so many drivers in your role as a team advisor. Dixon, of course, for many years. Rosenquist coming up through the ranks. Now Alex Palou, watching what he's done. James and I were with our Fox colleague, Tom Brady, earlier in the week. He's a big IndyCar fan now. He asked me, what are the attributes of this guy that makes him so unstoppable this season? How would you answer that question? What is different about Alex Palou?
Well, much like Tom, I think there's a skill level that all athletes have got, but then it's work. It's that work ethic you've got to have, and the motivation. You've got to have the skill and the brains and the fire in your heart. And I think he continues to have all 3. And he's never quite happy. You know, I know you guys have been referencing the Mid-Ohio mistake, and I phoned him afterwards, and he just said, I will not do that again. I was like, no, I don't think he will. He's always looking for improvement. He's the first guy that comes in, goes, okay, where am I missing? What do I need? How do we do that? He's just, and I'm one cog in that wheel of his organization, and he's just rabid for information to make himself better.
So you talk about your 3 championships in a row. I kind of actually credit you with 4 in a row, because you won your 4 in a row. You took a year off and went to NASCAR, but 4 championships that you contested in a row.
4 attempts.
Right, 4 attempts, 4 for 4, and with 2 different teams, which is a different conversation, different challenge. But let's talk about that run of 3 with Ganassi. Same group, you get on a roll like that in a series that is as competitive as IndyCar, where there's not much that changes year to year with the cars and whatever. We know the margins are so close. How difficult it is to win an IndyCar championship, and how difficult it is to win multiple, but explain the level of execution required when the championship is as competitive to come back 3 years in a row and be the guy to beat and execute to bring home the championship.
You know, you talk about that 4 and 4 attempts. I haven't actually introduced that to Alex yet. One of his big things is he's like, I want to win 3 in a row to shut you up. And then I can say I have the same as you. I haven't told him about the 4 and 4 attempts yet. So it's always fun just to prod him.
To have something one up on.
Yeah, just a little bit, you know. But no, it takes every member of that crew to just be looking for perfection week in, week out. And then you strive for that, whether it's the strategy with Barry and Julian and the whole team, or whether it's when it's not going so well, it's making the most of it in those situations.
We're just hearing Scott Dixon had a flat out on the back straight. He has managed to make it back on pit lane though, so all good news for your teammate, Scott Dixon. Dario, to James's point, not just about coming back year on year and putting this kind of performance, but the performance that we've seen from Alex this year in particular. We are used to IndyCar being unpredictable. The fact that he is able to win relentlessly, almost week in, week out, what has that taken from him? What have you seen from him in terms of the sacrifice that he's had to make, his work ethic to make this happen?
Well, I think from him it's total focus. He's got a young family now, and I think he's managed to sort of compartmentalize his life a bit, and he spends time with them, and then he goes to work. But he's just focused, I think, at all times, and he's clearly at one with the car. With the IndyCar, with the hybrid now, the way the weight's positioned in the car, it takes a very particular driving style, and he's an artist. He is an artist behind the wheel. And actually, with my oldest daughter, Sophia, I was in the office looking at some data one evening, and she came in. I said, come here. I said, look at that. And I said, that to me is poetry. And that's why, and how smooth he is, and the way he works the weight of the car, his feeling, much like Max Verstappen. He's got that ability to feel the tire braking traction before a lot of the others. And you talk about all those races he's won this year. He's going up against guys that are at the top of his game. Scott's won one race so far this season. We're not talking about people that aren't good. We're talking about, with Scott, one of the best ever. So he's, we keep talking about how well he's doing, and he deserves the plaudits. He does. The team does. It's quite something to be a part of.
We have to go to break. Thank you so much for coming onto the show, Dario. A list of legends that Alex stands on the verge of joining, yourself among them. Thank you so much for being on the show, mate. We appreciate it. We'll be back to Portland.
Yep, and we're riding on board with Pato O'Ward with less than 10 minutes to go in this session. He's down in 10th position at the moment. A 1 minute 0.5365 on the actual timing monitor. So there's a bit of improvement to be found, as only Ray Hall and Dixon are currently in the pit lane. Still going to be trying to go as quickly as they possibly can in this segment. Next to Omi, who's just got something sorted for me there as well. Still can't work out how we turn things down on some audios as well. Oh, Connor Daly's just jumped up into P9 on a 59.9419 as we ride on board with our pole sitter of Pato O'Ward. Christian Lundgaard receiving, guess what, as I said earlier, a grid penalty added into the mix, of course. Latest update, by the way, coming again from Connor Zilic. He's been transported to the local hospital for further evaluation. He is awake and alert. That's now coming directly from NASCAR as well, so that is good news. He is awake and alert as we now watch Stingray Rob move to the inside of Alex Palou down in towards the turn 10, 11 and 12 complex before hitting down the accelerator across the drag strip as Palou now comes back into the pit lane. 7 minutes to go in the final practice session. Let's get ready and return over to our colleagues at Fox Sports. This is, by the way, the final practice, but technically it's the warm-up for tomorrow's race. It's how it all works out, just a tiny bit differently this weekend as well. O'Ward coming across the line. Stays in 15th place across the board. Rosenquist improves up into 4th. Let's return back then over to Fox.
Welcome back to Portland International Raceway. This bitnile.com Grand Prix of Portland. Final practice / warm-up. We talked a little bit earlier about Scott Dixon having a flat tire. Let's see how he did it. And it was on a run down to turn one. We've not seen anybody make contact with the inside wall, but the 6-time champ is the first to do so.
It's so easy to do, guys. You kind of mentioned it in practice yesterday, T-Bell. Jimmy Johnson was sort of the first guy to take the IndyCar all the way over the curb and kind of use that barrier on the inside as the apex. And you see that he's got his left side tires on the inside of that apex curve, but gets all the way up to the Armco, clips it, flat tire.
Also issues for Will Power. I think that's over in turn 3, and I think he also had a problem in turn 6, finding the limits out there. And these track temps, really the highest that we've seen all day, and they're going to be, once again, higher tomorrow as we see the onboard. Not sure what happened. Oh, he just got, that's a strange place to lose the back end of the car. Should be easy flat through there, unless he's on cold tires out of the pits. But is it possible the softs are going off that quickly?
And that is the turn 6 moment that you were talking about, Townsend, just running off and wide and cutting a couple of corners and coming back on.
And look, I know that we moved this session to sort of an abnormal time at the end of Saturday rather than Sunday morning, as we now see the onboard of just getting onto that curb, and it again just sucks you out into the dirt there. But this is much more representative than what they would have been experiencing if we'd done warm-up tomorrow morning. So huge benefit for the teams.
Final moments here in Portland to come.
That's definitely one thing from Fox. They don't stay on air for very long during the warm-up. We have to interrupt every now and then, but it's good because, well, Omi's in the box, but he's just watching on in the background as well. He's not commentating on this session. JT has taken a much-needed break. Tom Cans will be joining me in the commentary box tomorrow as well. Trackside is Joe Sammiego, Nicole Fry as well. Here are a couple of bits as well from Jackson Lambrose, who's working, I believe, this weekend with Outlet Media. On board with Graham Rahal. That's twitching. He's behind Alex Palou. There's a bit of a difference as he comes through. Gently accelerates out of turn 8. Down we go again. Past the alternative start-finish line. Now we've cut to Joseph Newgarden coming through. Yeah, Joseph looking good on that little run around as well. We're all trying to be fast. We're trying to be free. I'm trying to get the access to the pit telemetry for tomorrow as well, because it's the first time I've been back in the IndyCar booth where it has been possible. But, it's not playing ball with us, unfortunately. See tomorrow what it's like. 3 minutes to go then in the warm-up. Alex Palou is fastest from Colton Herta, Graham Rahal, Felix Rosenquist, Joseph Newgarden, David Mullica, Scott Dixon, Devin DiFrancesco, Marcus Armstrong, Valentino Ferrucci in the top 10. Let's get ready then and send it back down to Will Buxton at the Fox sofa in the pit lane. Good lap time there. Running on board with Lundgaard. Just takes it easy.
Less than 3 minutes remain in Saturday evening practice / warm-up here at Portland. And who is fastest, wouldn't you know it? Alex Palou from Colton Herta, who had looked so fast all the way through this weekend, except he failed to progress as far as he wanted to in qualifying. Graham Rahal showing fantastically up in a position we might normally have expected him to be in qualifying, given the road course qualifying acumen of that team this season. We welcome Jack Harvey to the show.
All right, lads.
Hello, mate.
How was turn 1?
I actually wasn't there when Scott ended up just brushing the wall, so that was a little bit of a bummer. You're kind of waiting for a little excitement.
You're his reference.
He was looking for you. He's like, where'd Jack go?
There's Jack.
He was looking for the hair and then missed it when I wasn't there.
Mate. That's it. That's the one.
Ganassi is going to send you the crash damage bill on that one.
I hopefully he loses my number, and if he finds it, then call me.
So, Jack, give us some nuggets here. What were you looking for when you were down there in turn 1? What did you observe?
Actually, one of the first things I observed was people early in the session going down that escape road, just in case they need to go and use it at any point. I think we've seen people getting drive-thrus for using it incorrectly, and in a race, that completely harpoons the day. So, not that you want to do it, and I apologize earlier. I said you've been involved in an accident. You weren't. You just went down that. Maybe you were the reason why they do that now.
I think he was.
Actually, to be fair, I caused an accident in Indy Lights here, so that still counts. But yeah, in IndyCar, I set the tone.
I thought it was interesting just watching people intentionally figure out what that path actually is, and maybe they save a little time doing it the right way.
Always good to see those things up front, especially if you're a guy like Alex Palou. That's the question I went and asked him before he jumped in. I said, are you going to do that? He said, actually, Townsend, I already did. When I packed it into the tires in quali, I just went ahead and did it on the in-lap. Smart, because the lap was done. But talk about thinking at 1,000 feet, checker, chess when everybody else is playing checkers. And here comes Pato now with 50 seconds to go.
And look, it is so smart. It's so smart to get eyes on that as a driver before you're doing it in the heat of competition when every second does matter. You know what kind of speed you can take through it. So just getting those visual references is great. But it's, it's crazy to me to see you got Palou up there right now, just looking at the top 12. At least currently, they're running on the softs. He's on the hards right now. I'm not sure if that's what he set that time on, but if he's the only guy in the top 12 on hards, that's a bad sign for the rest of the series.
This is one of the hottest warm-up shows that I can remember.
Well, we're normally doing these at 8 o'clock in the morning.
I know. But also, it's one of the hottest sort of afternoons at a track that we've experienced this year. It's going to be even hotter.
A lot hotter.
A lot hotter. And it's already, you can't tell at home, but it is utterly sweltering down there.
I'm super curious as we're watching Colton Herta here. His hands look pretty busy trying to control the back end of this race car. But when Will Power stepped out in turn 3, that was a surprise on the soft tire. So I'm optimistic that tomorrow it's going to be more of a handful. I hate to wish harm on the drivers, but I would love to see them really struggle on the soft tires and really throw the strategy up in the air and mix things up tomorrow.
Well, I think with that extra temperature tomorrow, it's not unreasonable to think that soft tire won't last quite as long. I did try and do a little bit of a recce on how many laps you need of yellow to bring the two-stopper back in play. It's a lot. Like
20 laps?
It's a very significant amount. So much that you think everyone would pivot to it. And I also was trying to figure out if Palou did that fast time on the hard tire or not. If he did, it just feels like trouble for everybody else because he does things on that hard tire that no one else seems to be able to do.
I mean, he's 3/10 clear of the field right now for quickest time in warm-up. And like Laguna Seca, he was 7/10 faster than the field for fastest lap.
And so that's the thing, right? I mean, we've talked a lot about how his real advantage comes on that hard tire. Last year, this was a soft tire race, but if the temperature pushes it towards a hard tire race, that's pushing even more into the advantage realm of Alex Palou.
They didn't plan it this way, but maybe the best thing that's happened to McLaren today is the mandatory engine change for Lundgaard, because that puts him right back with Alex Palou at the start of this race. Had he started on pole, he probably would have wanted, obviously go win the race and stay up front. But now that he's back there, McLaren's got a chance for Lundgaard to cause some headaches for Palou early on.
He has said a little earlier today after qualifying, he's not even thinking about playing wingman for Pato O'Ward. I wonder if that will change overnight.
Zach might not have texted him yet.
Precisely. Let's see. Guys, thank you so much for your insight. As always, incredible. Our thanks to Dario Franchitti, who one of the best interviews I think we've had all year. What a fantastic insight into the mind, the work ethic of Alex Palou and just what sets him apart. As he stands on the brink of history, he can be crowned a 4-time INDYCAR champion at the checkered flag tomorrow to join that elusive group of AJ Foyt, of Scott Dixon, Mario, Dario, Seb. Can I have a bite?
Yeah, get in there. Get in there. Good man.
I pretty good.
With the white pants as well.
I love America. We'll see you in the morning, folks.
Yeah, well, that's very nice as well. Coming in from the Fox team, Will Buxton is taking a full bite of a giant donut. I suppose that's a kind of just a plethora of what we've got to look forward to with him over there in the States. So it's Alex Palou fastest then once again, but it's going to be Pato O'Ward lining up on pole position. Alex Palou will be in P5. Make sure to tune in to the Grid Network and the Grid Live pre-race show. That's at 5 o'clock British Summer Time for all of the action, and we'll be on air as well very early for all of the racing action tomorrow. Will it be Palou crowned champion again in Portland? Join us to find out. We'll see you later. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.